All right, so the thing about getting a YouTube channel going is it's like what Nike says, just do it. So I am recording this video. I know it's not high quality content yet, but all good things to those who keep on going. So today, I'm not gonna be showing you guys a whole lot, just kind of giving you an overview of what I'm doing. So I went on a trip, it was kind of a revival, back in the beginning of May. Went out to California, to Hammerville, California, Johnsontown, Hammerville, California. It's where the King of the Hammers race is. So I was asked if I wanted to come out and ride with a new company called Alive, capital A-L-I-V. I'm not sponsored or anything like that, but it was a good experience. And the fun of it was, since we were one of the first crews to go out with them, we actually ended up being in some of their commercials. So that was a lot of fun. And it just kind of got me back to my roots. You know, I'm a country kid by birth. It's kind of what I did growing up. Well, anyway. So I came back, bought a bike. However, I didn't want to buy like a Husqvarna 501 FE. Great bike, don't get me wrong, but high performance bikes need lots of maintenance. And I wanted to be realistic, so I went with something more realistic for my needs. So I picked up the KLX 300. So I'm sure you guys have seen tons of these videos already, especially if you own a KLX 300. But I did all the mods everyone's doing, and I know people are gonna laugh and like, oh, why'd you waste your time with that? I'm a big stats guy, so I looked at the dyno charts, and I did the throttle plate delete, secondary throttle plate. And people will say it doesn't change anything. It actually does. The reason being, there's a little computer just under here called the ECU, and that is programmed to control the secondary throttle plate. And what it does is it restricts the airflow to the motor until the revs hit 7,000 RPM. Then the computer, the ECU, will tell it to open up and let more airflow in. Basically, they're stunting the bike, restricting the bike to make it more compliant for emissions and that kind of thing. In the big picture of the world, you know, maybe they should focus on, I don't know, cruise ships that guzzle thousands of gallons a day, not a dirt bike. But that's my own personal opinion. So anyway, I removed the throttle, secondary throttle plate. I also pulled the seat off and took the snorkel out. You know, it's got an air filter in there. I'm not doing any really high water river crossings or anything crazy like that. If I do, I kept my snorkel and I would take it on those trips, stop, pop it in, do the crossing, and then move on my merry way. But the reality is, I'm not going on any crazy excursions where I'm gonna pretend to be Rambo out trying to outrun the military and cruising across a river that's 4 feet deep. You know, that's not gonna happen. So that's what I did for the basic mods. The ECU, open up the airbox, remove the secondary throttle plate, and you know, that'll give you 6 more horsepower in your mid-range. It doesn't give you 6 more horsepower overall. It's just, instead of having that dip and then going up, it evens out the curve. So in the mid-range, you gain a good bit of power. And maybe down the road, if I can find an editor that I can afford, we'll get some nice graphics and charts that'll pair up with this video. In the meanwhile, you'll just have to kind of take my word for it. If you are watching this video and you're curious where I got those stats from, I can put it down in the comments below. But so that's what I've done so far. And also, to open up the airflow, you know, I could put a slip-on muffler on here and gain 1 extra horsepower, but that's $200 for 1 horsepower. To me, that wasn't really worth it. So what I did is I just put I opened up the side of the muffler just a little bit to let some air out. I didn't open up the end. You know, this is where my ethics are different than other people's. You know, I didn't want to expose that I did a slight modification on here. So if I'm ever riding anywhere where they want a spark arrestor, you know, they might give me a hard time if I have a secondary hole here. So I put it on the side. And because I have saddlebags, I have an extra heat shield. And to me, that would suit the purpose of spark arrestors. And I live in the Midwest. I'm not in high desert. So it's always hot, humid, and wet here. The likelihood of starting a fire from a dirt bike is as close to zero as you can possibly get. So that's what I've done so far, and I will see you guys in the next video coming soon.